incredible. It's the first time we did under our, it's incredible. It's the first time we did. So I'm going to start now. If you guys don't know me, my name is Monakhad. I do a live weekly on mindset, manifestation, winner's mindset, reality creation, how this idea of making our lives better, it's really a day-to-day process on self-improvement, of self-improvement. That's what it is. The more you improve, the more you learn, the more you understand how the system works, and I want to talk a little bit about the system, the better your life gets. I don't know anybody who's doing this work every day or on a regular basis who hasn't improved their lives. But doing it on your own, it's a bit hard. So I created this space for us to all get together, share our experiences, comment, ask questions, and just take it from here. Okay. So the 60-day challenge that we're doing, it's ending with a new moon on August 23rd. Please do not miss this new moon meditation on August 23rd. If you can, please fast. The next live after today, I will be August 25th. I am going to miss a week because, like I said, I got one of my vision board manifestations to come to pass. We're going to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. My husband also never been to Hawaii. So I will be off next week. So the next live will be August 25th, but I will be present in the group for my queens who are in my group. And obviously we will be doing the August 23rd together. I will be back. I'm back on the 22nd, so I will be home on the 23rd. Now, I promised you guys a fire burning ceremony, and I thought about this, and I thought we could do it the same day as the new moon meditation, but then I don't want to mix up the energies. So what I want to do is after we finish, after we do the final meditation, what I want to do is you guys spend the following week just reassessing your limiting beliefs, looking at the limiting beliefs that came out of this challenge, or if you know what your top 5 are or what have you. I'm going to make a pinned post there where you can leave a limiting belief for us to burn, and it will be on August 28th, which would be the following Thursday after we finish at 8 p.m. All of this will be booked as Facebook events for my Facebook group. Okay, so August 28th. Please leave in the pin your limiting belief that you want me to burn. These are a lot of fun. I have a fireplace outside. I just sit there and I talk. And if you're not part of my group, but you still want to come and participate and give me a limiting belief, I won't take it in advance unless you're part of my group. But if you want to be in the live and you want to say, Mona, can you burn this for me? What I do is I have like some pieces of paper, you know, from the dollar store, like one of those notebooks, and I write your first name and I write the limiting belief and we burn it together, and everybody on the live participates with the intention that it's burnt. So I really enjoy that. I don't think I've done it since last year, since last summer. That will also be an integration of the challenge, a really nice way to end the summer. Thank you so much for your efforts and participations and everything. The new moon meditation will be based on the integration of the 3 pillars of what I teach. And the 3 pillars of what I teach is, in order to change your life, in order to do better, to manifest what you want and to go into a direction of a certain goal, you need 3 things. Number 1, you need to identify your limiting beliefs. You got to know what's holding you where you are right now. So without understanding what your limiting beliefs are, without understanding the programs that you're running on, you will not be able to change it, right? Because if you don't know what the problem is, how can you change the problem? So identification of your limiting beliefs is number 1. And you have to actually want to change them. You have to, you know, a lot of people say money doesn't grow on trees, or, you know, the rich are corrupt or are disgusting, money's filthy, all this stuff. You have to want to change this kind of beliefs, because many people identify limiting beliefs and they don't even want to change them because they think somehow they're morally superior by believing being poor, for example, is morally superior, or by staying away from men because all men are pigs, they're morally superior, or life is better that way. So you have to think, do you want to change this limiting belief? So number 1 pillar is you got to know and identify and want to change your limiting beliefs. Number 2 is constant awareness and redirection in your day-to-day life. So the practice is this: in your day-to-day life, you have to have anchors and a space in your mind where you pay attention to what you're doing and to what your reactions are to the 3D world. And if you pay attention to what you're doing and you are able to redirect yourself in the moment that it happened, the system, the formless substance, gets a different input from you. And with this different input, it creates, you can break a loop that's happening in your life just because you understood the lesson. I'm doing like a high level summary now. And then number 3, of course, it's your clarity of intent and force of will. So we have the limiting beliefs identifier. We have number 2, we have awareness and redirection on a day-to-day life. And number 3, a clear intention of where your life is going. I break this down into 5 goals in my 60-day challenge, but they have to be coherent. Those goals have to come together in a coherent life. And number 3 is the force of your will, which you cultivate, and the intention. So if you have this 3, I believe that your success is guaranteed. And even if you're not gonna, let's say you have a goal that's not really realizable for you. So I have a goal to, I don't know, become the president of North Korea, like I said, which might not be, it's definitely not in my lifeline. But let's say that's my goal. If I have a clear direction as to a good intention as to why I want to do that, I believe I would be put on the right path to make a serious change in the world, positive change in the world, because that's the only reason you would want to become the new president of North Korea, right? To make the people's lives better and to end the regime that's not great for the people. So that's the idea. If you keep these 3 things in mind, 3 pillars, you do the work, I show up and you have no reason not to follow along with the exercises and everything. If you do this, I promise you your life will be better this time next year than it is today. I gave you guys one exercise that I want done before the end of the month. And that exercise is the same as last week. Please do it. And if you did it, do it again. So basically that exercise is change something in your physical environment, in your space, in your office, in your home, ideally both. That's get rid of something old, replace it with something new, or don't replace it. Get an office plant, do something different that when you visually look around, there's something different in your physical space. So I want to know how many people did it. If you're listening to this on YouTube afterwards, all my lives are posted on YouTube for my queens to be able to listen to it whenever they have the time. Please leave me a comment that you've done so or that you intend to do so, because just the intention and stating the intention makes a difference. Change something in your physical space, especially if you've done the 60-day challenge, because just to identify that, yes, you are doing something different. Yeah, guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my live. Okay, I want to get into a discussion about feminine energy. And feminine energy, let me just preface with something because I got a question on it and I got many questions on it. Feminine energy, of course, being the creative energy and the energy we're all trying to tune into. Now, if you are of the gender female and you were born in this world in the correct body, you will have this natural feminine energy. But what happens is, because of the way the 3D system is set up, a lot of us have to fall into masculine energy just to survive, just to exist, just to be able to compete in the job force. It's just to be able to have a normal life in which you are respected, in which you can earn money, etc. We know this, right? We have to employ our masculine. We all have masculine and feminine. We're not really allowed by the system to be 80% in our feminine, which is where we're supposed to be on a daily basis. Most women are the other way. It's flipped around. It's flipped around where they're more masculine than feminine. So, but what is feminine energy? Okay, and feminine energy, in my opinion, also has a few pillars. It's probably more than this 3 that I'm going to talk about, but and if you have another one, let me know. But these are the 3 things I think you cannot, where we go against it. First of all is awareness of what we want as women. We tell each other a lot of lies. Oh, sorry, not each other. We tell ourselves a lot of lies about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So awareness of what you want, depending on your feminine energy. And when you make a decision, are you making it from your feminine or your masculine? Like you're saying, I'm taking this job because it's going to pay me 40 grand more than what I'm making now. And I'm going to work like a dog, but that's okay because I need the money right now because I'm saving for my future, etc. Because I need to buy a house. Okay. That's all great if that's what you want to do. If you independently want to build a life for yourself. But if you're doing that because you need to do that to survive, that's a different kind of energy from where it's coming from. If what you really want is to have a provider husband who's doing really well, who loves you, who adores you, and not everybody, I'm not saying every woman wants that, but I think the majority of women want that, and they're just not admitting it even to self because they don't see a path from getting from where they are to getting into that kind of relationship. If you get into any relationship with a man, in my opinion, should only be a PPP man. Protector, provider, prioritizer. My queens know this. If you're new to this live and you want to ask me any questions around it, I think if you get in a relationship with a guy who's not in his PPP energy, you're not going to be able to tune into the feminine. Okay, so number one is awareness and truth, honesty with yourself about what you really want, how you really want to express your feminine energy. No more lying to self, no more saying it's okay when it isn't okay. Number two is rejection of everything that is unwanted. So everything that is unwanted has to incur a no. If you are dating a guy, you go out with him 3 times and you know 3 times is the standard societal norm to sleep with someone, and you do it, but you're not really into it, you'd rather get to know him more, you're going against your feminine. Because now you're following a rule, a regulation, an expectation. It's not really coming from you. It's coming from fear. It's coming from fear that you're not going to be able to have what you want because now he's expecting this, you have to give it, etc., etc. So saying no to what is unwanted all the time. I'm giving the example of a relationship, but of course it applies to everything. It applies to how you spend money. It applies to when you want to say no to even your children, to your friends, to your parents. It's all about saying yes when you really should be saying no. So not only awareness of what you really want and being truthful, but also rejection, active rejection of what you know that you want to say no to. Now, if you're not even aware of how often this happens to you, this is where I'm talking about the 3 pillars of how to change self. Awareness and redirection on a minute by minute, day by day, kind of as action unfolds is required in order to be able to do this work, okay? And then number 3 pillar of femininity, okay, is creation of beauty. You have to create something beautiful in everything you do. When you make a meal, are you making it from your feminine or your masculine energy? You're just whipping something together. Oh my God, I don't have time. I'm running. When you're running to the gym, are you like looking at your body in the mirror, being like, I'm just about to make you better? I can't wait to work. Or is it the masculine push? No, I gotta go. I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. So everything you do has to be done from the feminine creation of beauty energy. If it's not done from that, these are the basics that you have to monitor. You can't come and say, how can I tune into my feminine energy? First, you have to assess your life, just like you're assessing it for limiting belief. You have to assess it from which energy are you doing the task that you're doing and why. Let's recap. Awareness of what you want, being honest with yourself. Stop telling yourself you want this because society tells you want this when you want something else. Number 2, rejection of everything that's unwanted. You're gonna say no when you feel like saying no, irrespective of the consequences. And number 3, creation of beauty. With everything you do, in everything you do, you gotta put a beautiful touch on it. It's gotta come from your creative energy. Are you guys with me? I think there's like 45 people on this live, nobody's saying anything. I don't know if people put me on mute and just look at me. See, I'm complimenting myself. I know everybody's here for what I'm saying, but like I want some feedback. I wanna make sure you're awake. Yeah. So that's what happens with the feminine, you know? Like asking me, how can I get in the feminine? I'm like, Do you even know how to think about this? You're absorbing. Okay, good, good, good. Good, good. Okay, now I'm gonna go to a question that I got from a queen in my group, and I think I only have one for today because there's a lot to discuss around this. Give me 1 second. What did I do with it? It was also on the masculine and feminine. Okay, so the question is this. I listened today, that was from my last live, and it was one of the best videos with so many hidden gems. I would love for you to expand on your comments regarding grace when something is aligned to come into our lives and how to recognize it, as well as the male-female understanding versus conflict around us asserting our value of what we bring to the table. So the male and female understanding versus conflict around us asserting the value of what we bring to the table. I have a feeling that a lot of us women are raised, or rather conditioned, in the age of feminism and in the way that we need to have palpable value to match the man's financial support. I understand your assessment of us going through childbirth, it's a risk, etc., giving them kids. But how do you evaluate leverage and assert your womanly energy without losing their attention during conversation? If you mention energy woo-woo, when you are in your post-childbearing era, okay? So you're not going to give this man kids. It's your second time around, it's your third time around, doesn't matter. You're older, and how do you assert your feminine? Okay, I want everybody to have understood this question the way it's phrased, because many times the answers to the question is in the question. Okay, the answer to the question, you can clearly see how somebody thinks right there, right in the question. This queen knows I only have the best intentions for my queens, but I don't sugarcoat any of the responses because it needs to speak to a larger audience. It needs to be really understood. This is a crucial concept. Feminine energy is never asserted. It is always embodied, okay? The moment you need to assert, explain, justify, and prove your worth, you're in a negotiation. This is the antithesis of being in your feminine energy. So we never assert a feminine energy because asserting is a masculine energy to begin with. So the moment you're being like, okay, I bring this and you bring this, you're in a masculine negotiation, which is the opposite of embodying femininity. Completely opposite. It's not a debate you need to have. It's really a field you need to occupy. And when you occupy that, you're not going to need to have the debate, and the debate will not come up. Nobody will ask you, except maybe just somebody who meets you like he doesn't know what you're about, what you bring to the table. And then you want to get rid of those people anyways, because they're just not for you. When you embody, like, it's such a ridiculous question when you're in your feminine energy. It's like he's got to be captivated by you occupying this field. Now, is this going to be every man? Of course not. You don't even want every man. That's why you are going out there selecting the right man. Okay, that's the first problem. So the first problem I saw in the question, asserting my feminine energy. There's no such thing. You just embody it. And if it comes to, oh, negotiation, what I bring, what you bring, tell yourself, I'm not embodying it right now. Something wrong with me. With me, right? Something wrong. Forget him. Right? This queen is already in a relationship, right? The moment you have that conversation, you're in a transactional paradigm, and it feels off. Like the energy exchange is going to feel way off because you're both masculine negotiating a transaction. Okay, the second thing, you are linking your worth with tangible output. The output that you want to bring to a man's life is not tangible. So you want measurable contributions to equal his financial support. And I'm going to ask you a question just so you can wrap your mind around this. Why don't men live alone? Okay, I understand when they're young, they want to have families. Everybody wants to have children, wants to have a house. Let's leave those men alone. You're saying you're in your second part of your life. It's your second time, third time around. And why don't those men live alone? That's what I'm going to ask you. Men can take care of themselves. Let's assume he's an okay earner. Let's assume, why is it he's not getting a condo, living by himself, spending all the money on himself, and I don't know, calling in a working girl every other week to take care of his needs? Why don't all men in their second, after they divorce, why do they all want women full-time marriage? By the way, 50 or 48% of divorced men marry within 5 years of their divorce. Why? Why can't they be on their own? And now you want, based on his financial support, for me to tell you what your tangible contribution is. When they don't need a tangible contribution, they're not able to be alone. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's almost like you're not understanding the principle on which they operate. You're not two partners. I hate the word partner. I'm sorry, but I hate it. I had one partner. He was my business partner. We're in business together for 6 years. I said, this is my partner. Then I had to clarify, it's my business partner. Right? My business partner. There's no such thing as a partner. You don't bring tangible benefits because you're embodying your femininity. Okay, so that was the second thing. So first thing, you're not asserting, you're embodying. Second thing, don't look for tangible contributions. And the third thing, which I find most problematic, is this thing that later in life you're saying, well, I'm not giving him kids, so why should he take care of me, or why should he be with me, or why? I don't know what's going on in your mind. But here's what I see it. You are seeing feminine energy or femininity as circumstantial and not intrinsic, right? It's circumstantial. If you happen to be 25 to 35 years old, in that circumstance, he could see you as a reproductive machine and value you. But you have no intrinsic value. That's what you're saying. Because once you're past your child rearing phase, what's there to you? What could he possibly want from you? And go back to my idea that he's free to leave you alone, go get a condo, get a working girl every other week, and live like this. And they don't do that. Why not? Right? So circumstantial, you have to decide, is your feminine energy circumstantial or is it intrinsic? Your presence, your emotional leadership, your vision, your magnetism, your intuition, all of these things actually increase with age in a woman who has worked to develop herself. If you successfully raised kids, and I happen to know you're successful financially, if you are able to create a life for yourself, imagine what more you can create for a partner. So your value is not circumstantial, it's intrinsic. Feminine energy is intrinsic. And when you look at all these great teachers like Louise Hay, who created a whole empire and she's helped millions of people. She only started in her 50s. She was full of feminine energy and full of value till she passed away in her 90s. You look at her, she's the embodiment of creative feminine. Many women like this. Your feminine, if you go in the right direction, increases with age. Now, to that, there is a corollary, and the corollary is, if you're with the wrong man, he will destroy you. And he will destroy you faster when you're older than when you're younger. Who did I mention? Louise Hay. Louise Hay, great New Age thinker, philosopher, but I don't want to know New Age, I don't want to say New Age. All about mindset, affirmations, how you should always create beauty, tell yourself good things, wrote many books, and her publishing house, the Hay House, is the publishing house that publishes the most New Age and self-improvement books on the market now. So, this is how you have to think of feminine energy. A, you're not asserting it, you're embodying it. B, don't link the value that you bring to a man to tangible outputs. Okay. C, your value is intrinsic, not circumstantial. Your presence, energy, vision, emotional leadership, emotional stability, sexual energy, definitely, earlier in life or later in life, doesn't matter. All of these things, you can't put a price on it, right? Because when they can, they do it. If they can pay $200 for a girl to do something, and if she was able to provide all this, and not just a 10-minute physical act, they would do just that. And we know they don't do just that. Why? Why do 48% of divorced men remarry within 5 years of their divorce? Why? Have you guys ever asked yourself that when he asked you what you bring to the table? Why will the wrong man destroy us faster when we're older? Because whether you want to or not, you're not going to be able to think that you have an infinite amount of time to do it again when you're older. And when you're older, you need a lot more stability than when you're younger. So at 25, you can get out of a toxic relationship at 30, and you still see yourself in a position of being able to continue on, find another guy, whatever. If you meet him at 50 and he destroys you until 56, you're not likely that to be like, okay, I can do better than this guy. This has to do with how collective consciousness conditions us to think. It's not the right way to think, but that's the reality. I'm talking about where mentally most women will land. It's different when you see that you're running out of time, because this idea that we as women are only attractive or valuable for a limited amount of time is ingrained in us. You can't escape it. If you think you can escape it, it's not. It's not like, it would be a beautiful thing if we could, but I'm telling you, the only people who really escape it are women who give up on men completely. And they don't wear makeup anymore. They don't care. They age naturally. They're happy inside, I'm sure. They become lesbians. A lot of women actually do become lesbians later in life. This is like a fact. They just change to not see themselves, to not have that ticking time or right to be attractive in the world for a specific amount of time. It's terrible. I wish it wasn't like this, but I'm talking about the way things are now. So this is why the later you go in life, the more important it is to pick the right partner. The more pretentious you should be. Not pretentious, not the right word. The more strict you should be with your standards. And of course, this implies that you know what your standards are based on who you are. Like, our standards will differ for woman to woman, but in general, every woman should look for a PPP, protector, provider, prioritizer, okay? Every woman should look for that. Now, what protection to you might mean, it might be different than what it means for me. For me, protecting me would be protecting my mental health, protecting, not telling me every single, what I love about my husband, he doesn't complain about his work. I asked him what his work day is, and, he's in corporate, he has a high pressure job. He just says, just work is work. I'm tired. It was tiring today. It was like, I get it. But then, in retrospect, we had some conversations where he said some things that, oh my God, this thing almost happened. And this thing, I said, oh my God, how could you keep this inside and not tell me? And he's like, I didn't want to bother. I didn't want you to worry about this. It worked out anyway. So I didn't want you to worry about this. That's a protector. I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, he was protecting me from worry about his career or what have you. He was only going to tell me if it did happen. He wasn't going to tell me a worry that he had. I like that. Also, like opening car doors, being a gentleman. Everybody should look for that. Listen, if every woman demanded that, every man would do it. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. They would not be like, oh, if you bitches want this, we're not going to date you anymore. No, they will comply. It's our standards that are the problem. We're giving too much for too little. Fourth P, positive optimism, is so important. Yeah. And while we can all have the right to be down once in a while, is general positive optimism and belief in the future. Don't be with one of those guys. The world is coming to an end. It's come. They have destroyed everything. Look at these airplanes. They're spraying. We have nowhere to hide. We're harvested of energy. They're giving us cancer. Yeah, don't be with a guy like that. If that's what you meant, Valerie. Let's see if I missed anything. I don't know. I want to be super clear about the feminine energy because when I read this queen's question, I was like, okay, this is what's happening in most women's minds. They're still struggling to have put on the table something tangible. The person I'm with doesn't value me. What should I do? I'm leaving ASAP, but it's hard financially. Yeah, so definitely I give general advice here, okay, for people who might find themselves in that situation. This is something that happens when you have broken your standards, right, Athena? So you'd have to admit for the rest of the queens on this life that he didn't treated you like princess and then you moved in with him and he completely changed into a psychopath who treated you badly. These are kind of things that when you look back, you're like, yeah, I remember that time he didn't text me for 2 days. And I remember, I found him talking to another girl, or whatever the case may be. I remember when he slammed the door on me or he punched the wall. I remember when I had to pay for this because, he didn't even offer to pay. I remember all this. This is sort of what comes up when I'm coaching women. It's never like when somebody tells me I've been with him for 2 years, he's treating me badly or things are not good. I always want to step them back as to where they have allowed violations in their system to begin with. And you got to correct that. So if the relationship is bad, unless you're married with children, I never advise married women to leave their husbands. Of course, you can if you want to, but I just don't give that advice. If you're not married, you don't have children together, it's so much easier to start from scratch with somebody who doesn't know you would take disrespect. It's much harder to convince somebody after you've accepted disrespect for 2-3 years to be like, but now I'm a princess and now you can't do that anymore. That's gonna be, it's gonna create such conflict. It's gonna put your vibration lower. It's just gonna be a lot of drama that's not gonna help your growth. How can we be more in our feminine when we have to provide for ourselves? So my lives are posted on YouTube. I was just talking about this in the beginning of this live. But for example, ask yourself in your feminine energy, how many times you said yes when you wanted to say no? When your intuition told you to say no? How many times have you slept with a guy just because it was time, it was second date, third date, or whatever they tell you is the right time, and you just were out of fear of losing him? Give you advice if you're married with kids. I told you, it would depend highly on the circumstance and the financial intertwining that you have with your husband. I couldn't give you general advice for that. It's really difficult. First of all, I think every woman, when she's contemplating, this is not a good relationship, it's not good for me, it's not going to take me anywhere, my marriage really isn't good, it's taking a toll on my mental, it's not good for my kids, you need to consult a lawyer as the first step. It would highly be dependent on your financial circumstance, on how your children's lives would change, on how much more time you have until your children grow up. It's different if they're 3 than if they're 14. All of this is important to take into account. You can make small changes in self in a marriage, but if you do a 180, I mean, the marriage is going to explode or implode, and that might be more traumatic for your children. The moment any one of you is thinking divorce or has said the word separation, you need to consult with a lawyer. Yeah, I have a close couple to me that's going through that now, and it's difficult. It's very difficult, right? Because even consulting with lawyers and stuff, which is the fair thing to do for both, it creates a lot of tension. You see a different side of that person, the person that you're married to for 10 years, 20 years. You see a completely different side to them. Do you think a new state can change your physical appearance for the better? Yes. But it would also, a new state where you prioritize self will also put you in a position where it's not like magical changes that happen overnight. You will prioritize yourself more and you will invest in yourself more. Listen, as a woman, because of this limited time that we have supposedly, you always have to prioritize self. Whether you're married, not married, you have to prioritize self because you are your own best investment. A man is not an investment. Even your kids, like, sure, you should give your kids, you should be a great mom, but don't think of your kids as your investment. I know people who think their kids are their investment. I'm going to put him through that, and then he's going to earn this much money. He's going to be a doctor. He's going to, be a baseball player. He's going to do this and that, and then they're going to take care of me. You don't know if they will or won't. You don't know how life will turn out. You don't know if when I know a woman I worked with had her daughter in swimming. It was just her daughter, and her husband. When she finished high school, she was accepted in some swimming program in the United States. I don't know. We're from Canada. The daughter, I don't know how long the husband was planning this. She was close with her dad. And the husband came to tell her he's leaving her. He's for somebody else that he's been with for the last year. The daughter knew. And the daughter said, Mom, I always hated how you pushed me in this. I told you since I was small. I didn't like it. I'm going with Dad, and I'm quitting swimming. This woman was finished. This is somebody, hand on my heart, I personally knew at work. And I was like, she will never recover from this two devastating blows. Why? Because her life was not about self. Let your kids do what they're interested in doing. Support them as much as you can. Don't push them into anything that's not them. And pay attention to the dynamic of your marriage. Pay attention. Because many women think, well, we're raising kids together, and that's what we're doing right now. No, the relationship between you and the person you're married to is extremely important to take its temperature on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Who are we talking about, Lisa? Who had a great relationship, provider, protector, but always on his terms? Somebody says, I can basically manifest every aspect of my life except the love life. I thought of that for many years because I was successful when I was single. I was always successful. But after I left my first marriage, I was like, I can manifest anything, the house, the this, the that, putting my kid in private school, looking good, having a lighter schedule at work, maybe all of these things, changing my boss, taking his role, all of this, okay, except my love life. And I gotta tell you, you're gonna manifest your love life when you are ready and make the decision that you are ready. You don't see yourself there. It's something that I can't even explain in words. I can't, because there's gotta be an inner shift in you that happens in order for something to change in your love life. Like, love life is not an achievement, is the embodiment of some other identity. Like, I started to see myself, first of all, I had to admit that no, I didn't want to be single forever. I didn't want to be taken to nice dates and expensive restaurants, and like, that's not what I understand by love life and dating life. I needed to admit to self that I wanted to be part of a marriage, and this is the system that works best for me. It just happened that the first time around, maybe I didn't choose the right person for me. But that's what I wanted. So it took me years to just be able to admit that's what I wanted. And after that, I had to assume the identity of being a wife before I even met anyone. Right? So it's like a major inner shift. But you see, identity is not fixed. We can change our identity all the time, but not magically. It's not like this. It's not by doing this and, oh, now I'm a single independent woman and now I'm a wife. It doesn't happen like that. It's a feedback loop of habits, beliefs, repeated actions. What you speak, is it in alignment with what's in your heart? Is it in alignment with what's in your mind? Because I guarantee you, when you talk to your friends, if you can manifest your love life, it's because you keep talking. Part of it is because of your identity. Part of it is because you don't see yourself in a relationship that's not good for you, which is what you believe every woman has. People who have great marriages and they don't put them online for people to see. The majority of them don't. What you see online is like trad wives being like, oh, I got a new bag, I got a new this. I don't come online and talk about how good I have it. I don't like women who have, and I know there's women who have it way better than me. They keep quiet about it. So this is why what you see out there, it's only the negative, but it's not 50% negative or 80% negative the way they make it look. No, I know women who have great marriages, taken care of, car door open after 15 years of marriage, my friend. Everything. Husband in love with her, wanted to bring her flower, wants to be intimate with her 3 times a week if she would just say yes. All of these things, right? It's not as rare as you think. And the only reason you think most relationships suck is probably so buried down in your mind that your system in which you manifested everything in a beautiful life won't even let you get close to someone. The universe won't put on your path a good man right now. Because it's trying to protect you. What is the purpose of our programs? Survival. Okay? How do you survive? The system says, oh, you have X and Y and Z, you're not under any threat. Let's not introduce another variable right now. I got some comments here, so I just want to see what's going on. Oh, your sister. You didn't share. Oh, they're divorcing? I'm sorry to hear that, Lisa. We can talk about that like in a different setting. Is repetition the key to turn occasional thoughts into fundamental assumptions? Yeah, but it's not just parrot repetition. I don't really think those parroting works. Is really, you gotta understand the fundamental system under which we operate. You gotta understand that differently. You gotta understand that our physical world is part of a larger system. And our physical world is not based on the material. It's based on it's fundamentally fed by information, an information system. Consciousness accesses this world and it's fundamental, it's primary to matter, and it accesses the system, our physical world, and the larger part of the system all the time. That's why you have dreams. Scientists can't explain why you have dreams. Their best explanation is like, oh, it's your brain dealing with the happenings of the day. It's just clearing your memory or something like this. This doesn't explain dreams in which I'm flying and I'm floating off the ground and I'm doing things that that's not a memory to me. Visiting places that I've never visited, and I see people that I've never seen in my dream. I had a lucid dream the other night. My group is interested in this kind of things. I have lucid dreams maybe like once or twice a year, and it's just so incredible. I don't know if anyone on this live has had a lucid dream. Lucid dream, it means you know you're dreaming. You wake up in the dream and you know it's a dream, but you know it as I know I'm in this car right now. And I woke up and I was in this dungeon or basement, but it was made of stone and sand. And I'm like, wow, I'm dreaming. Okay. So I wasn't scared at all, right? Because I know it's a dream. I know it's a dream in my dream. And I'm like, okay, let me see the quality of this dream. How is it? How's the sand? So I take some sand in my hand. So now it's like a memory, right? Because in a lucid dream, you remember everything. I take the sand and I'm looking. I'm like, wow, this replica. Think about it. I'm in a dream and I'm saying this to myself. This replica of sand, because I know it's not real. It has the right weight. It has the right color. It feels like sand. Then I went to the wall of the basement and it was made by stones put together, and I'm like, wow, the stones have little cracks in them, exactly how they would be in real life. Like it's not a high level rendering, it's a perfect freaking rendering. And I'm like in amazement. I'm like, wow, this, okay, I want to get out of here now. I'm like, take me out. I think, there's a higher force than us, and I'm not scared of it, and I'm like, take me out. And then I'm waking up and it's this outdoor party with a lot of people, like 50 people. And I'm like, okay, let me inspect these people. I still know that I'm dreaming. Like, it's incredible. I don't want to make this too long because I know this live is about mindset. But I gotta tell you, so I go to the first person and I'm like, look at me for a second, right? Like in my dream, I remember their face. If they were to appear in front of me right now, I would know you're the person that I dreamt of because I registered everything. And I'm looking at their face and I'm like, wow, I can see your pore, I can see your makeup, I can see this is really good. Like, I'm like, this work is really good. You know what I mean? And then as I'm doing this, I'm going to the next person and I'm doing this. I do this to 3-4 people. Then I look around and the rest disappeared. Like the crowd got thinner and thinner with each person I was looking at, as if they didn't want to be looked at. And then that was the last thing I remember. After that, I had a dream that I just remember as a dream, that what happened in the dream. I know this is like, it's something else. Okay. If that's a rendering, and this could be a rendering too, it could be. The sand was sand, the stone was stone, and the faces were perfect faces. It's just that I knew it wasn't real, and I wouldn't dare go to the grocery store and be like, hey, let me look at your face in detail. But I was able to these people that looked just like, it's crazy. It's just mind blowing. Anyways, so the system, the larger system that you're under, it's all about the evolution of consciousness. It's all about the evolution of this underlying substrata, okay? Your decisions, responses create patterns that feeds back into the system. But the system doesn't control you. It just, its purpose is to create scenarios to evolve you. And consciousness evolves through love and pain, and they're derivatives of love and pain, right? 3D is the output. It's meaningful, but it's not fundamental. So obviously it's meaningful what car I'm in, what scenarios unfold around me, what house I'm in, what I'm going to do today. All that is meaningful to my consciousness, but it's not fundamental. Fundamentally, what we are returning to the system is our responses. And that response will either keep the system feeding us the same loop. If you're not evolving your consciousness, if you're not learning, it will be a different loop in a different scenario. Sorry, it will be at the same loop in a different scenario. Or if the system, or if you're providing new data, it will create new scenarios. So you're actually able to graduate your levels of consciousness, and you're going to be able to measure that by your inner peace, harmony, and the harmony of everything that happens around you. Things start happening with grace, your relationships get easier, the people who are conflictual in your life will just be removed from your life. All of these things happen because you have graduated to a new level of consciousness. Now, these steps, you can go backwards too. You can go back. If you forgot about your work, if you forgot about monitoring results and associating them with 3D output, you can go backwards. And now bad things are happening again, or conflicts are everywhere, or people pick on you for no apparent reason on the street, or people are rude to you. Do you know when the last time somebody was rude to me? I don't remember. Must have been years. I just don't remember. It used to happen a lot when I was younger, because I was in an inner conflict on a consistent basis. So the system creates experiences for individual observers, which gives a chance for interaction and a chance for the evolution of consciousness. And this should be your fundamental belief about reality. Thought, intent, responses change the data that you're sending into the system. The system must, it's neutral, it must feed you a different output, which could also be a loop. It could be a loop. But now you got to assess, is this loop better for me? What else do I want to adjust about this loop? Okay, now I see I have a lot of messages, so I just want to have a dialogue. Let me just go back a little bit. Maybe I'll start. Lucid dreams are pretty cool. Okay, so people are having lucid dreams. Lisa says, every time I become conscious, I'm thrown out. A lot of people have that experience. I've heard that. The moment you become conscious, or you realize, or you're interacting with somebody, you're thrown out. You lucid dreams a few times a week? Oh my God, what do you do in them? If it happens to me like twice a year, I'm really excited about it. What do you, when you wake up in your dream, do you say like, hey, this is great, keep me here for long, I want to learn about these things? Because like I'm conscious in my dream, do you understand? Like I could say that. But right now it seems like I'm in an exploratory phase. I'm like, I want to see this, I want to see this, I want to see how good this is. Wow, you can create worlds in those dreams. I love and I crave lucid dreams, me too. But no matter how much I love and crave them, they only come seldom. So I really appreciate it. I don't want you guys to misunderstand lucid dreams for dreams you remember vividly. That's not the same thing. Whenever I receive unexpected money, unexpected expenses come. Yeah, because generally our thought about money is not to grow it, to multiply it. Our thought about money is just we need it for a certain use. So you got to think of money. I said this in a few videos, and you can go through my money playlist. You have to think about money also as a person, you know? Like if you had a relationship with a person and you only use them when it's needed, then that will be their pattern. Their energetic pattern will be like they're used and then they go, right? But if your energetic pattern is I want to sit down with this person and I want to see where I can help them. I can help you maybe grow, maybe multiply without thinking of using it. That's why I don't advise my queens to ever reach for certain amounts of money. Reach for life experiences, reach for a certain type of house, reach for a certain type of relationship, a kind of job that suits you, where you feel promoted, valued. All money is sort of like a follow up to all of that. It's just gonna come with all of that to make it happen. 3D is also program running and looping unless you override it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Your experiences are going to be loops and programs until you learn. If you don't learn, you're going to have the same loops. Same thoughts, same behaviors, same output. I had a lucid dream, but I did have an out of body experience during meditation. Interesting. I never had an out of body experience. I don't think I want to. I don't, you know, I sort of stay away from that kind of stuff. Dreaming is different because dreaming is, it's not purposeful projection outside of your physical body. Like when you dream. Whether the dream can be more meaningful is something else. Guys, remember the system is neutral. It's not moral, and life is not testing you. It's you're being refined. That's what happens. You're just being refined into the system. If you're not refined enough, I think you come back and you have to do it again. And the goal is look at the world, and 90% of this world has it worse than you if you're on this live right now. And it should be a concern coming back with 90% chance that you have a worse life than right now. Right? That's why you should do your best in this life, to learn, to be put on the next level. Interesting. Lisa says, I made a vow I'm not coming back here since I was a kid. It might not be up to our conscious mind, right? Obviously, anybody who's had it hard saying like, I don't want to repeat this life. So it might not be as simple as that. It might be about the collection, right interpretation, change of data input into the system in order to go to the next level. You see, there is choice. There is free will, because free will is required for choice. And no evolution can happen without choice. Right? Data has to be better. The data you return, the experience you return, if you want to think of it, you're returning it to God, you're returning it to the system. It has to be, you're responsible for the quality of the experience that you're returning. Yeah, how can evolution happen without choice? That's why we have free will. But the destiny might be determined before based on what you've done before. I don't know. It's not really important to think about. I don't want to get too esoterical because I gotta keep your mind the game. The game is here now. We're looking for meaningful interactions, prosperous relationships with friends, with business associates, with romantic partner. Everything has to be good for you. You as a priority. Remember the 3 pillars: discovering your limiting beliefs every day, awareness and redirection, and the igniting and keeping the flame of the will inside of you, the clear intention. None of this is easy. None of it. But it's all necessary. So when you're saying we can override the program and become the programmer of our own experience. Yeah, but you're making it sound like it's we can. But based on what I said and a lot more than that, we can. And it doesn't take a second. It doesn't take, identity is this feedback loop that we just have to provide different feedback in order to return a different loop. If you don't like the loop you're in, if you're in the perfect life, there's no reason to change anything. Maybe just become kinder to people so you collect some type of evolutionary points. But you know, there's a reason of why the very rich make a lot of donations, and contrary to popular belief, it's not just tax. They know they have to. Anything else? I gotta go home and pack. I'm flying out tomorrow. So I won't be doing a live next week, but I will be present in the group. I'll put it in the group again on Saturday. Do not forget the 23rd, not this Saturday, the next Saturday. Continue on with your 60-day challenge. Continue on leaving comments in the group under the pin of 60-day challenge. And I will be back on the 22nd. We'll do the day of fasting and meditation on the 23rd. We'll spend the following week reviewing the limiting beliefs that came up. And then you're going to leave a comment with 1 or 2 limiting beliefs that you want me to burn in our fire burning ceremony on Thursday, August 28th. When will the next 60-day challenge be held? To be announced. To be announced. I really enjoyed it. I take a break in between them, but I really enjoyed it. Let's put our hands together for the 369. I am a winner. 1 breath in together. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.